Hello, and welcome to HelloBeautifulLadies.com, home of the Ask Andrea blog. I hope you enjoy this special free workbook that we're going to share with you today on money saving tips. Let's get started, shall we? First of all, being able to budget your money is really the key to financial freedom, financial stability. Nowadays, with all of the bankruptcies going on, we really need to be more conscientious about how we spend our money. With the rising costs of living and the rising costs of housing, health care, medical care, it's becoming more and more important every day that we learn how to live within our means and live within our budgets. So let me give you some hints on how to do that. First of all, whether you've gotten out of a relationship, lost your job, or whatever your circumstances are, these money saving tips are good advice for you in any situation. Whether you're age 20, 40, or 60, you really need to learn to budget. In fact, I wish they taught how to budget your finances and handle your checkbook in schools. Might be really helpful for us later on. Now, I always have this philosophy, this motto: if you can't afford it now, you can't afford it later. So that means if you don't have that money available to you in your budget, just because it's a good deal or you really want it or it's on sale, doesn't mean you should buy it. And one of the best things you can do is to stay away from credit card debt. Only use your credit card in times of an emergency. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the program when we talk about periodic expenses. So we'll expand on that. And if you do use a credit card, be sure you always pay it off at the end of every month so you're avoiding high service fees. Next, I like this philosophy. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses, because guess what? The Joneses are probably trying to keep up with you. In reality, nobody really cares that much about what you do and what you have. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves and what they're doing and what they're having. And in the end, if your friendship is only based on what you have and how you can impress other people, then you probably need to get rid of those friends. So stop keeping up with the Joneses. The next tip is to shop at second-hand discount or thrift stores. Did you know that all the clothing worn in the photography on the Hello Beautiful Ladies site was purchased at second-hand thrift or discount stores? So you really can look amazing on a budget. And here's another tip. Don't overspend during the holidays. We all tend to want to do that. But what happens is we end up taking the rest of the year paying off those debts, and then we start all over again. So make a plan of what you're going to buy and limit yourself. Stick to that plan. Make a list throughout the year of things you think you might want to get or give for gifts. The other great idea is to wait till the after Thanksgiving and after Christmas sales and then stock up on the bargains. I always like to do that. If I'm somewhere and I see something that's on sale and it's a good bargain, I may pick up a couple of them and save them to give as birthday gifts throughout the year. And that really helps me with my budgeting and my planning. All right, the next tip, always stock a little bit away in your rainy day fund, because you never know when you're going to have a car repair. I mean, just alone last year, I had to put in a new air conditioner, I had to put in a new water heater, and I had major car repairs. And so it's always good to stock some money away for the rainy day, the unexpected, the periodic expenses. My suggestion to you is that you put about 10% away every month in a savings account and don't touch it. Use it for those things that come up that are unexpected. And finally, put the maximum amount of money allowed pre-tax dollars into a 401k plan. It's becoming more and more common that employers and corporations are no longer providing pensions for their employees. They may do matching funds in a 401k, and you should always put the maximum amount away that you can. Doesn't matter whether you're 20 or 30, start young, start saving soon. We don't know if Social Security will be around for us, and we certainly don't want to depend on Social Security. We need to have our own funds available, especially because we're living longer and we have to be able to pay for long-term care in some situations. Now, I want you to check out on the Hello Beautiful website our guidebook and workbook on IRAs and self-directed pensions for retirement. It's another workbook that I think will be very beneficial to you. Let's start with some money-saving tips. Let's start with going to the grocery store. Did you know that according to the National Resources Defense Council, Americans throw away 25% of the food they purchase? I know that happens in my household. I buy it and then I buy it in bulk, or I bought it because it was on sale, or I just was walking down the aisle and I thought that looks really good, and then I end up throwing half of it away because I didn't really need it. So to avoid wasting money at the grocery store, always shop with the list. So I prepare my list before I go for several reasons. If I don't have a list, I end up walking up and down every aisle, and then I like this and I like that, and I keep putting all these things in my basket, and pretty soon, I've got a $500 bill before I walk out the store full of things I probably didn't need, and I'm probably going to throw away most of them. So always shop with a list and stick to that list. Before you go to the store, make an inventory of what you need. I always do that. I look in my pantry, I look in my fridge and my freezer, and that's what I use to develop my list of what I need to get. Another helpful tip is to make a weekly meal plan so that when you do go to the store, you're only buying the items you need for that week's meal. Another good plan is to only shop once a week, because if you're running back and forth into the store all the time, you're going to be picking up more things than you're really going to need. You're going to walk down the aisle and say, oh wait, I need that, I'll just grab that, and I'll just grab this, and I'll just grab that. And then you end up going over your budget again. Take non-perishable food items to work. If you're taking your lunch to work, that helps save money. Then make sure you're taking something that isn't going to go bad at your desk, or something at least that you can, if you've got a refrigerator, you can store it in the refrigerator. If you have children, leave them home if you can when you're going to the grocery store. Otherwise, you're going to be tempted to give in to everything they want. But Mom, I want Fruity Pebbles, and I want this, and I want these cute little Garanimal things, and these cookies and those cookies. So best to leave the kids at home when you're shopping. And that way, you can purchase more healthy options as well. And finally, don't buy in bulk just because it's on sale. For example, if you have a small family, maybe you don't want to shop at the Costco or the Sam's Club, because that's going to be too much for you and you're going to end up throwing some of that away. The only time to buy in bulk is if it's something that's non-perishable and you know that you can store it and you're going to use it, but plan for that in your budget as well. Okay, let's move on to eating out. We all like to eat out, especially on the weekends, Friday and Saturday nights. At the end of the week, you're tired, you don't want to go home and fix a meal. You really just want to go out and be pampered. Well, some tips for eating out are to look for the coupons that come in your mailers and your local newspapers. I know when I go to my mail every day, I have a stack of coupons. Clip those coupons, keep them in your purse, keep them in your wallet so they're handy. And then when you're deciding where to go to eat, look through your coupon book and say, well, let's go here tonight. Maybe I want Thai food. Maybe I want Italian food. So using coupons is really a money saver, especially if you can find the 2-for-1s. Another really good idea, and I always do this, because I really feel like in America, our food portion sizes are so huge. So when I sit down at a dinner, unless I'm sharing a meal already with someone, I ask for a to-go box right at the beginning of my meal. Then I take my plate when it arrives, and I cut the portion in half. I put half in the box, and that way I'm not tempted to overeat. And when I go home, I have lunch for the next day or dinner for the next night. And that's a money-saving tip. Split the cost and share a meal. I always like to share a meal with someone when I go out. Eating out for lunch instead of dinner, that's also cost effective. Lunch prices are much lower than dinner prices, and you still get a lot of food. And oftentimes, you can split that and take it home for dinner as well. And again, looking for coupons and specials in your mailers. Groupon and Living Social. I like to use those sites. They have a lot of good ideas and a lot of great coupons. All right, moving on. Let's talk about entertainment. We all like to go out. We all like to be entertained. We don't want to sit at home. So what can we do that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it still gets us out so that we're having fun and we're being relaxed? I recommend doing things that don't cost money. Doing physical activities such as hiking, biking, bird watching. I know that where I live, there's a free concert every single day of the night in the summer. You can take that. You can take a picnic and sit out in the mountains or sit out on the lawn and enjoy the scenery and listen to some music under the stars at no cost. Instead of going to dinner and going out with friends, why not host a potluck? Especially in the summer months, it's so fun to have a barbecue or fix a meal and go on a picnic. And that way you're only bringing one dish, but you get a full meal. Here's an idea. Cut your cable television or ask for a lower price. I recently wanted to cut my cable television, and I noticed that I had all these TVs in my house and nobody's watching them or using them. So I called the cable company and I said, look, I need to remove half of these and I need a lower price. In order to renew my contract, because it's coming due in a month, I really feel like there's some other people out there that are being more competitive. What can you do for me? Well, we can sign you up for another contract and we'll give you this price if you'll sign up for another year or two. And then put that on your calendar so that you're always calling ahead a month or two before your contract expires to re-sign up and see what kind of a deal you can get. Volunteer. Get involved in your community. Volunteering doesn't cost you anything, and it brings you happiness and great satisfaction. It's really good for your mental health. You can learn something new and have an impact on someone else's lives. And reading books. Reading books is a good way to entertain yourself and to learn. And I suggest getting them from the library. The other thing I suggest is getting movies and CDs with books on CD and enjoying those. I also use Redbox because it's very cost effective to rent those movies. But be careful, because if you're like me, you probably forget and then you don't take it back for a week. So then you've lost all of your savings. So if you do rent a movie, be sure to take it back the next day. How can we save on our utility bills and our phone bills? So recently I was looking at my cell phone bill and I went, this is so high. Why is my bill so high? So I went into the store and I said, look, I mean, I'm paying this much, and I don't know what I'm paying for here. My bill just seems to be going up and going up. So we sat down and we went through every line item, and I was able to cut my bill by about $40 to $50 a month. There were some things on there that I wasn't using, that I didn't need, and they gave me an extra discount if I signed up again for another year. So it's a good idea to review all of your bills at least yearly to see if there's any way you can cut costs. The other thing is, when you're at home and when you have children, this is a hard concept to get through, but turning the lights out when you leave a room, turning off your computer, unplugging electronics when you don't need them, when you're going out of town, that always helps to save a little bit of money. And then setting your thermostat to a temperature which is comfortable, but it may not be as cool as you like or as warm as you like. For example, in the winter, throw on an extra layer. When you're watching TV, throw on a blanket. Keep that heat turned down. Same thing in the summer with the air conditioning. Same thing in the summer with air conditioning. You can wear lighter weight clothing and maybe you'll be a little bit more uncomfortable, but see if that helps you save on those bills. And now what I'd like you to do is take a minute and write your own goals and your own ideas for saving money. Perhaps you've got some ideas that I haven't even addressed. Let's take a few minutes and I'll allow you to do that. Well, how did it go? Welcome back. Did you create a new list all on your own? I hope you came up with some great ideas and tips on how to save money. Next, we're going to move along and talk about the budget worksheet that I've prepared for you. Earlier, I talked about the various kinds of expenses. Fixed expenses are items that you know you can plan on every month. They stay the same. Your house payment, your homeowner's insurance, your car payment, life insurance, health insurance, internet, phone, student loans, and then your savings. So those are kind of fixed expenses. Next come the variable expenses: credit card payments, food, clothing, education, electricity, out-of-pocket healthcare expenses, gas, personal care, dining out, and recreation. What I'd like you to do when you get a chance is to go through your expenses from the previous year and see what you spent month to month. When I do that at the end of the year when I'm preparing for my taxes, it always amazes me at how much money I spend on superfluous things that I didn't need, and how much I spend on clothing or accessories or entertainment. And then what I try to do is say, okay, I'm going to adjust my budget this year. One year I said, I'm going to go an entire year without buying any new clothing. Now I can do that because I stay in the same size. So I made up this new goal. I'm just going to go shopping in my own closet. And the funny thing was, I'd go to work and everyone's like, is that new? And I'm like, nope, I'm just shopping in my own closet, mixing and matching the clothes that I have. So that was an area where I was really able to save on my budget for that year. And you can go through that on other items like entertainment. Now, if you have children who are growing, you are going to need to budget for their clothing because they're going to need new sizes every year. And hopefully, the younger siblings can take advantage of the clothing that their previous siblings wore the year before. All right, let's scroll down a little bit and get to the next section. Now we have periodic expenses, things like property taxes. What's easiest for me to do is to include my property taxes in with my monthly home payment. That way, at the end of the year, I'm not surprised by having to come up with a couple $1,000s right around the holiday time when I'm wanting to use that money for other expenses. So that's one tip that I've found helps me. Periodic expenses are the vacations, the car repairs, the holiday gifts, your taxes, vehicle registrations. These are the items that are unplanned, kind of like the things I told you about earlier when I needed a new air conditioner and a new water heater and a new faucet and those types of things. And that's when your savings account is going to come in handy. And then what we want to do is compare income and expenses. So you're going to want to take your monthly or take your yearly income, divide that by monthly. Don't include your bonuses, because you can't always count on bonuses or sales commissions. So you need to take this off your base pay and learn to budget and live within your means based on your base salary. And then anything else that comes in as a bonus, you can use for periodic expenses, like maybe taking that vacation that you wanted. Okay, let's scroll down and let's turn to the next page. And in closing, I've provided a money tracking sheet for you to use. Now this may be just a starting point, but it's really good to keep track of the money you're spending. And what I like to do is at the end of the week, I go through all of my receipts and all of my bills, and I keep track of them on this spreadsheet. Now you may not want to do it weekly, but you at least should do it monthly. And it really helps you at the end of the year when you're filing your taxes. You may want to make some modification to this sheet to fit your needs, and that's okay. We hope you've enjoyed this free seminar and that you found it very valuable. We hope, how do I want to say my closing here? Sorry. See, this is the great thing. He can edit it out. Jordan found this dog. We hope you've enjoyed and found value in this free seminar brought to you by Hello Beautiful Ladies and the Ask Andrea blog. Please go to our website and check out our workbook on IRAs and self-directed pensions.